my name is Robert from GHTR. Who is GHTR? What is GHTR? GHTR is the largest podcast station in the nation. We're located in Grand Haven, Michigan. GHTR stands for GH Talk Radio. It also stands for Grand Haven Talk Radio, okay, or Grand Haven Radio. No matter how you put it, we're located in Grand Haven, Michigan. We started in 2011, okay, and we've been going strong ever since. Now, how did we get our start? Well, it's real simple, okay? I'm going to tell you how we got our start. I started this as a hobby. Never thought in a million years that would ever get off the ground. One of my friends, one of my good friends, his name is Jeff Grunel. He's from Mesa, Arizona. He had a paranormal ghost hunting crew, okay? And him and I hooked up for a very short time, and he had actually started his own radio station for his own paranormal group. And so I said, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start one too on Blog Talk Radio, and I'm going to promote yours and then run your shows on our network. So we have two of them running simultaneously because I thought it'd be a great marketing plan. But as time went on, things didn't work out the way they should have. Me and Jeff parted ways, and I kept GHTR. And believe it or not, one of the greatest things that happened is I was starting to meet a lot of fascinating people. And one person, there's actually a couple ways that this all happened, and how it happened was really cool. The first person that I met was Terry. His name is Terry Anderson. He lives out in Seattle, Washington. He came to me and he says, you know, you got a great name. I've listened to you, a couple of your shows. And I said, oh great, you know, this is great. And he says, well, keep up the good work. So then I met another guy. His name was Chris Allen. Now, not the American Idol Chris Allen, because he's a dweeb. We don't give a shit about him. Okay, we're talking about the real Chris Allen. Okay. Anyway, I met Chris. Him and I started talking, and then we actually started out doing a show for him called Monster Theater. It was about Bigfoot, the paranormal world, and all that other stuff. Turned out it was a pretty good hit. We had a lot of listeners. And then we started another show called Late Night with Rob and Chris, which today is one of the biggest, one of our biggest shows on our network. Now, what's really cool is over time, we grew and grew and grew. We had lots of other hosts on our show. We had Ryan Casey. We had, God, who else? Phil Summers. We had him on our show as a host. He did his paranormal show. Ryan Casey was a Straight Talk with Ryan Casey. Was a phenomenal show. And then we had a couple other people who came in there, and David Christine, who did No Limits, and his paranormal show too. He was doing two shows. Both shows were excellent shows. Me and David kind of parted ways. Dave went and did his thing. Dave is still doing good to this day, and I really appreciate everything that he did. And then as time went on, me and Chris kept plugging away. We did two shows, sometimes 3 shows a week with Late Night. We started bringing in guests. We started bringing in all sorts of just that old style rock and roll music, the old classic stuff. Now, when I say classics, Chris and I used to get in this argument on here all the time. And now, just remember what I'm talking is kind of like a retro freaking way of getting everybody on board of what we've been doing. This is kind of like the fast story, so I'm going to speed through this. When we started doing this, then we started having other shows. We had the Morning Meltdown, Night at the Round Table. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, we got like 23 shows that are operating on our network. A lot of people call us podcast radio, and I take blame for that because it's GHTR, the nation's podcast radio. Well, guess what, people? It's just not podcasts. We are a whole network that is just exciting. This whole thing is just extremely exciting. And we've grown. I mean, like 3.7 million. And in February, we'll have our new numbers. I'm hoping that they haven't gone down, but I'm sure they're going to stay and maintain the same. Now, when I say that number, it's not daily. For all you frickin' people out there, this is on a yearly deal. How many listeners have we had this year? And believe it or not, like I said, 3.7 for, I think it would be 2013. We don't know what 2014 brought us yet, and that's what's going to be exciting, because I'm going to be kind of looking for that number. And then you can find us at www.ghtalkradio.com. I'll put that on the screen down here in just a few minutes. But anyway, that's really what we're doing. I mean, that's what we're all about. Now, let me get back to the story. Okay, so then we got Chris, Chris and I were doing this show. We're talking about the music, talking about being on the road, talking what it feels like to be behind the scenes. Being a production engineer, I'm the guy behind that big board with all the knobs and stuff, doing concerts, working in recording studios, and doing all that great stuff. Yeah, I did that. I did that a lot. I've been in the music industry a whole life. And Chris, being a musician, being a vocal artist, being an entertainer, Chris was phenomenal. He had a lot of cool things to bring to the table. And he even has a couple characters. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I don't want to spoil it. We'll let Chris spoil that. But here it is. We started getting a lot of following. People started loving us, okay? And unfortunately, as everything happens in life, something happens to people. We don't know what it is. We can't explain why it happened, but it happened. And last year was a very rough year. Not just last year, but 2013 was a really crap year for Chris. And in June of that year, his wife, of a very long marriage, decided to walk out on him, and the only way she could walk out on him by get him in a lot of trouble and frame him on a bunch of crap, none of it being true. But Chris, he was so strong through those couple months through the summer, the last part of summer. He didn't get to see his sons and all this other stuff, and he loves his sons greatly. And I kind of got that, and I respected that about Chris. And I started working with him one-on-one, and lo and behold, here comes this woman from out of nowhere, threw a wrench in the works, and it all cascaded downhill. Okay, it was so amazing. The whole thing was amazing. Chris, he had to leave the station, and there's every reason why he had to, and I understood that, and I think he did too, because he kind of, he's not gone. He's on vacation. This is the way I look at it. He's on vacation, people. That's it. That's all you can say. He's on vacation. And for me, it's like, I hope that he can come back. Now, a real good friend of ours her name is Christy Baker. She's a country music artist out of Nashville, and she wanted to help out, so she came on board last year with Late Night, and it became Late Night with Robin Christie. And it has been very successful. I mean, she's done a lot of hard work, people. I mean, she's really done a lot. She's brought a lot of good guests to the show, and I can't thank her enough for that. And it's hard for me because I do a lot of things around this station, and a lot of people don't know that. And my hands are full, and I got great people who work with me to make this whole thing, GHTR, just come true. And then, Christy is the one that really helped me to get past the little bump in the road. We got back on track. We started doing more shows. We had some really great guests, and it was thanks to Christy, who went out there on Twitter. And if you ever know Twitter, you get her talking there, and she doesn't know enough to shut up. You know, Chris is just that way. But anyway. So here we go. Now the one person who I've been wanting to get to is Brenda Whitehouse. Now Brenda Whitehouse, okay, is the glue that keeps GHTR together. She sets up all of our shows. She tells us who our guests are going to be. She talks with the guests. And that is her job. And that will remain to be her job forever because she's so good at it. The only thing we need to do is get her on the damn radio. She won't do it. But we love her to death. So, what is in the future for GHTR? Well, we're actually going to WebTV. As you can see, I'm going to start doing some videos off and on. They're not going to be every week and everything. We have to do this slow because we have to do it perfect. This is actually, I'm doing this run of videos for a reason. And that reason is I need people to understand that we are a network. We're not just a podcast station. GH Talk Radio, www.ghtalkradio.com is a network. We are a network and we are going to continue to grow. We have plans to have a full studio with WebTV. That's what our plans are. Now, here's the deal. How are we going to get there? It's because the people who I am working with right now. I am working with Buster Mathis Jr. with the Buster Mathis Foundation. I'm working with Walk the Beat with Dave Palmer, incredible guy. Lots of energy, lots of commitment, and he is the music man of Grand Haven. The other people that I'm working with is Dave Darling, who's incredible I can't say it, filmographer, or he does films. He's a great cameraman. He does all the editing. Perfect. And then Bill Chrysler, of all the people in the world who I get to work with, Bill Chrysler, are you freaking kidding me? I get to work with Bill Chrysler. Lots of good things are coming for GHTR. I'm working with Walk the Beat. I'm working with other foundations that are in the works right now. This is going to be the biggest network ever. So you're going to want to keep your eyes glued. And one more thanks, I want to give a shout out to my beautiful wife, Jody, because without her, none of this would be possible with her being with me. And I really appreciate everybody listening to this stupid video, but I'll see you very soon. And thank you for watching.